Then I want to say to the people that are watching us live on the internet, good afternoon. And as always, it is good to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. You know, before we get into this lesson, sisters and brothers, people are sending me emails about one Israelite group. Is it supposed to be what Jews, what is it for Jesus, Hebrews for Christ or something like that? And there's a bunch of brothers going around. Then when you start pushing Jesus, they kick against it. And they showed me, I got a couple of emails that really kind of bothered me some. Brother Ryan out of the Kalamazoo camp sent me one. And they had this big interview with the news media in Las Vegas, hate groups they call them. And when they get through talking, they look just about like that. Then we have another one where they had a big debate with some Christian organization. And they beat them up. What's bothered me is you have these people out here representing Israel, but nobody contacts the biggest Hebrew Israelite camp, period. You understand? It's almost like selective service, so I charge Robert and also Sidney. You get in contact with these people. If you're going to deal with Israel, then deal with the grown-ups, not the children. Now, it's up to them to deal with it, but that's why I put a challenge out there. You understand? You get all these little groups. There's the Israelites. And when the Israel of God started, and when I came into this thing, the parent wasn't allowed to get out of the living room. Now, you going to represent us? Hey, sisters and brothers, God chose us, Israel, to be the priest to all of the sons of Adam. We are charged to bring all of God's children, no matter what nationality, no matter what color, no matter where they came from, back to God. Because Adam and Eve fell in the garden. And when they fell, all of their children fell. And if you didn't come out of Adam and Eve, you do not exist. And I take issue with my Hebrew brothers running around making God so small that he's going to save us only. I have a problem with that. And I take issue with also these same Israelites that run around and made everybody on the planet Hebrew Israelites. Mexican, Puerto Rican. Look, sisters and brothers, when the Lord told us who we was, he gave us signs. He said, these conditions that's going to come up on you are signs. Signs to identify. When you find out the people that was brought into this hemisphere and other places by slave ships and sold as female and male slaves, you found Israel. Mexicans were not sold for slaves. Puerto Rican was not sold for slaves. American Indian was not sold for slaves. You're the only one in this hemisphere that was brought here as slave. And I'm getting tired of these half-informed brothers running around making these false statements and can't prove nothing. And then having us look like hate groups. We're not hate groups, sisters and brothers. We are somebody that's trying to bring everybody to the God of Israel. And who is the God of Israel? Jesus. That's right. How can we represent when we got all this falsehood all over the place? But then they're guilty too. There's no way that you can look unto Israel and don't run into the Israel of God. No way. But we're going to get to the lesson. But I told these brothers, we're going to start challenging these people running around telling all these lies and giving us a black eye. Because we deal with the word of God, sisters and brothers. But right now, this is a lesson I put together years ago through the grace of God. Because when I looked around at some of the people in the class years ago, and we still had the same condition, I said, maybe there's some things, especially a lot of it in Proverbs, that we should know. Because sometimes we have to find out what God expects from individuals. So we start having a good look at ourselves. Because I usually deal with a title and deal with a specific thing. Like I might deal with speaking in tongues one day. I might deal with the kingdom one day. I might deal with the with identity. I might deal with the abomination of desolation, the great tribulation, the time of trouble. But today I'm dealing all over the place. And the title of this lesson is simply called Food for Thought. Food for thought. Because you need to know sometime what you look like. And this Bible is a mirror too, sisters and brothers. That's right. It's all that simple. Now we're going to start this in Proverbs, the 6th chapter. And you can put a mark in Proverbs because we're going to be in and out of Proverbs all afternoon. Because sometimes, sisters and brothers, we get so right and we become righteous in our own eyes. That's because we don't have a mirror to look at. And the mirror, the best mirror I know to look at is the Word of God. Because when you start peeping at yourself, peeping in the Word of God and getting the way it is, sometimes you say, wait a minute, I got some fixing I need to do. And you have some fixing that we need to do in all of us. Right. Like a brother told me one time, brother, boy, I just find it hard sometimes, and I just want to, give up. I said, join the club. But the Lord knows that sometimes I can't be as perfect as I need to be. Perfect is a big word, sisters and brothers. I remember a young man called Jesus good, and he said, why callest thou me good? There ain't but one good. That's the Father. That's right. See, as long as you're in this flesh and blood body, it's a struggle, sisters and brothers. Right. And it is an error to tell people while they're in flesh and blood body that you can be perfect. You cannot be perfect. Right. You can try. But as soon as you think you can be something and you know that you can't, what are you going to do? Give up. And once you give up, sisters and brothers, that's the end of it. Because Jesus said, he that endure unto the end, the same is saved. As long as the end is not here, we got to struggle, sisters and brothers. We got to walk this walk. This is not what, God is not a God without what you did for me last week, what you doing for me now. Proverbs 6, and we're going to start reading at verse 16, 6 and 16. Proverbs 6 and 16. Because we're going to have a look at a whole lot of little things. Go ahead and read.
These 6 things does the Lord hate.
These 6 things that the Lord hate. Go ahead and read.
Yes, 7 are an abomination unto him.
Uh-huh.
A proud look.
A proud look.
A lying tongue.
Lying tongue.
And hands that shed innocent blood.
And hands that shed innocent blood. See, a lot of people, I've been so proud. You ain't never heard that word pride come out of my mouth. Proud of what? I'm proud to be an Israelite. When you look and see what we fallen for, you ain't so proud. Maybe you should be a little ashamed. That's right. He said, but these are things that the Lord hates. Go ahead and read.
A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations.
Somebody always around plotting on somebody. I'm thinking evil about somebody. The Lord can read the mind. He said he hates these things. Go ahead and read.
Feet that be swift in running to mischief.
Uh-huh.
A false witness that speaketh lies.
Go ahead.
And he that soweth discord among brethren.
Feet that always running to create mischief. Somebody's always lying on somebody, sisters and brothers, and somebody always sowing discord. You see, it's just like, we had some brothers, I knew where he was at all times, but it was because wherever he was, it was some confusion going on. And always setting brothers against brothers. Sisters against sisters. Well, you know what she did, or you know what she said. Is that going to edify somebody? Is that going to make the situation better? Then why say it? The Lord says he hates these things. Walking around with a proud look on your face. Now, like I've been doing this for 45 years. You don't see me walking around with a swagger and a smirk on my. You know why? It's because I know what the Lord will do to a person that turns and go ugly on him. So he hates these things. There's 7 things in it.
That's right.
Now let's go into Proverbs, the 24th chapter. Proverbs 24. Because a lot of times, sisters and brothers, we do things and we look at things and we look at people, and all of a sudden, we ain't got what they have. We become envious. Lord warned you about that. 24:1. Go ahead and read.
Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them.
So don't be envious when you see somebody committing wickedness all the time, even if they're profiting for it. And don't desire to be with wicked people. You want to be away from them. Go ahead and read.
For their heart studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief.
They're always talking something that's contrary to the word of God. Skip down to verse 16. Verse 16 and go ahead.
For a just man falleth 7 times.
This is what you got to remember. For a just man falleth 7 times.
And riseth up again.
But the Lord, if you just, the Lord going to pick you up. That's what I tell people, even when you get baptized, you're not going to be void of problems or trouble. Sometimes inconvenience and hard things going to come up on you. Sometimes you're going to fall. But the big blessing is you get up. Lord told you you're going to fall, but the righteous get up. But what about the wicked? Go ahead and read.
But the wicked shall fall into mischief.
But the wicked going to fall into mischief because you always have foolishness on your mind. Go ahead and read.
Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth.
Why is that? Go ahead.
Lest the Lord see it and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him.
See, sometimes you have an enemy and the Lord start to punish them for what they're doing to you. And when they start falling and hard time fall upon you, now you're going to rejoice. Praise God. He got what coming. The Lord said, wait a minute. You ain't no better than him. That's right. Because he was trying to bring your demise. Now you are rejoicing because I am bringing his demise. Why should I punish a wicked vessel for persecuting a vessel just as wicked as he is? So the Lord just stopped. All of a sudden, what happened? He was having a rough time because you rejoiced. I don't care who it is or how bad it is, sister and brother. You should never rejoice when hard times fall on anybody. That's right. And this is the God that we serve, don't like that. Go ahead and read.
19. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked.
Go ahead.
For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out.
And see, anything, don't fret yourself because people doing evil. I see people all the time. The Lord ain't blessing me. I'm a hard time, but I see old Joseph over there. He ain't got no good in him. Everything he do is wrong, but everything he touch prosper. God said, don't worry about it. I got him. I'm going to get him when he least can afford to be got.
That's right. That is so true.
And I'm going to put his candle out. In other words, sisters and brothers, the Lord's telling you, don't worry about your neighbor. If you have anything to say to your neighbor and you see him wrong and going contrary to God, you warn him. But other than that, don't worry about him. That's why I tell people I don't do no judging. I'm too busy trying to keep myself from standing in judgment.
That's right. That's right.
But it's these little things, see, we don't read. So the Lord put it in my mind to just put all these things in there. Let's call it food for thought. In other words, I'm going to give you something to think about. Let's go into Proverbs, the 22nd chapter. Proverbs chapter 22. Because too many times it's too easy for us to start thinking we something. I've seen it among Israelites. The Lord gives them pretty good wisdom. All of a sudden his head gets so big he can't even walk straight. Same God that pump you up can take you down. We're going to start reading at verse 24, 22 and 24. Because that's why I said we're going to be all over the place today, because somebody needs to know about how to live. Because I don't care how much knowledge you got, if you don't live it, you ain't got nothing coming. Verse 24, go ahead.
Make no friendship with an angry man. And with a furious man thou should not go.
And you're around somebody that's mad all the time. Always want to do something all the time. Always furious. He said, don't make no friend with these people. Because after a while, you're going to start thinking like them. You're going to be angry all the time. Go ahead and read.
Lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul.
That's what I said. Go ahead and read.
Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are surety for debts.
Now, he telling you, the Lord warned you about everything. Don't jump up and get in debt if you ain't got enough money, or you don't have a means to handle it, because what's going to happen? Go ahead and read.
If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take it away thy bed from under thee?
Ain't that what happened when you make a debt and can't pay for it?
That's right.
They start taking that you already have. See, the Lord warned you. See, this God of Israel warns you how to live, sisters and brothers.
Right.
I don't have a job. You're going to tell me, well, we're going to sell you a car now. But I don't have a job. Or either I have a job, I can pay rent, pay groceries, but I can't afford a bicycle. And you're going to sell me a car. Well, we can do it. Okay, what's going to happen is you can't pay for the car. You're going to take it in. Now you take it from you. Now you can't even pay for your car note, your house note. They're going to come take that from you. He said, so don't reach out and agree to debt if you cannot pay. Right. These things we need to know, because a lot of us are guilty of that. No, I ain't going to take that rap. A lot of y'all guilty of that. Well, that's why everybody's so shocked when we build this edifice. And don't owe nobody nothing but $2.5 million. This is a $20 million edifice you're standing here. How do you do that? Because I don't make no debt that I can't pay. I don't get on in no project that if I have a little interrupt in it, it's going to take my whole organization down. No, we don't do that. Because that's bad business. Bad businessmen make bad service of God. Because you get bad things come to you, now you're going to do bad and unrighteous thing to try and get around it. Look what the Lord said. Skip down and read verse 29. Verse 29. Go ahead and read.
Seest thou a man diligent in his business?
Seest thou a man that's diligent in his business? In other words, that takes care of his business? Go ahead and read.
He shall stand before a king. He shall not stand before mean men.
Then you're going to stand before king, not mean men. Everybody wants to talk to you. Everybody wants to be in your presence. Who's the mean man? That's the one that's coming to collect the debt that you owe them. You ain't got to worry about him, because you was diligent in your business. This is what the Lord is telling you, because a lot of time we find ourselves in situations that we don't have to be in, but we made bad decisions. I remember a brother told me one time we was trying to get this property. Well, brother, just go on by the property. I said, no, it's not zoned for church. Oh, brother, you should just go on and believe in the Lord. Yeah, I'm going to believe in the Lord and walk up and put up $850,000 on the table by faith. I said, I do better than that. I'm going to get the property changed. Then I put the $850,000 on the table. Because God is a wise God.
Right.
And if you're going to serve him, you got to make wise decisions. And that's not hard to do. All you have to do, sisters and brothers, is go in here and read it. He's told you about all of it. Make preparations. And if you want something, be prepared to do what it takes within the boundaries of God to go get it. Because if you don't, or you lazy, you're going to get to be hungry. Proverbs 21, back up to Proverbs 21. We're going to start reading at verse 25. This is just food for thought, sisters and brothers. Just put some on your mind. Then maybe you can have a look at you. Maybe you're having rough times. Why is everything always falling down with me? That's because you're always putting them on something that's unstable. You have to think. I believe in God more than anybody. That's why we got all these churches, sisters and brothers. The Israelite God is a multi-million-dollar operation, and I don't get paid. You know why? I told the Lord I don't want to live out the ministry. So you know what he did? He gave me a career that's going to keep me eating till he comes. Because he know my attitude. When I stand before him, he ain't going to have to ask me, look at here, did you work for money or did you work for salvation? I said, well, Lord, where's the paycheck? That let me know that God will give you what you want if you take it to him right. But then you got to do your part too. You understand what I'm saying? He said, like Israel, he gave him the land of Israel, the one that died in the wilderness. But with a spear in his hand, he said, Ephraim, turn away from the wall. He done already gave it to you. So who gonna win? Who gonna beat you? Nobody. Proverbs 21, let's start reading at verse 25. 21 and 25. Okay, go ahead.
The desire of the slothful killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor.
Slothful means lazy. Desire of the lazy killing him, because you got all these big desires, but you refuse to go work and make money and get what you want. Well, you know, if it's the Lord's will. I'm going to tell you what the Lord's will is. He told you that in Genesis. He said, with the sweat on your face, you're going to earn your bread until you return to the ground. For dust thou art, to dust thou shalt return. He said, with the sweat of your face, and then with your labor. So, but if you ain't laboring, you want something now. All the brothers, he's on the corner, he's begging, you know, brother, you should have compassion. Yeah, I have some compassion. I tell him where to go work. What verse are we? Go ahead.
That was verse 25.
Go ahead and read.
He coveteth greedily all the day long, but the righteous giveth and spareth not.
But he just sitting around coveting. Greed all the day long. I want this, I want that. But if you want it, go work it. But the righteous, if he has something, and he help people as long as they don't come hustling. But the book says better to give than receive. And it took me a long time to figure that out. Then it finally hit me one day. If I'm giving, that means I got something to give. If I'm receiving all the time, that means I need to get my house in order. I said, that makes sense.
That's right.
So he says, you're slothful. That means lazy. You got you a problem. You know, Paul talk about spiritual things too, but keep your marker here. And people tell me, well, Paul talk about this and pray to the Lord. Let me show you what Paul said here. Let's go into 2 Thessalonians, the 3rd chapter. 2 Thessalonians, the 3rd chapter. Because, sisters and brothers, I see it all the time. I see it all the time. I don't mind helping people. But every time I look up, you standing in front of me, well, you know, things went a little bad yesterday. Then I look up again, well, you know, things, wait a minute. Even I knew this friend of mine that had a wife that wouldn't work, capable. He said, every time I turn around, brothers, she needed this and he needed that. And I need this. And he said, finally, I told her what she needed. And I said, what is that? He said, another husband. But we can't get away with that. You stuck with her. You stuck with her. 2 Thessalonians, the 3rd chapter, we're going to start at verse 3. 2 Thessalonians, 3rd chapter, we're going to start reading at verse 3. Okay, go ahead.
But the Lord is faithful, who shall establish you and keep you from evil.
Go ahead.
And we have confidence in the Lord touching you, that ye both do and will do the things which we command you.
Now, he said, and the Lord's going to do that. He's going to be with you, but you have to do the things that he wants. And you have to watch your own self. Because if you don't, you got you a problem. Go ahead.
And the Lord direct your hearts into the love of God, and to the patient waiting for Christ.
Go ahead.
Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you withdraw yourselves from every brother that walketh disorderly, and not after the tradition which he received of us.
Keep reading.
For yourselves know how ye ought to follow us, for we behave not ourselves disorderly among you.
So Paul said to them, look at us now. I want you to act just like us. We're going to read right into it. Go ahead and read.
Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught, but wrought with labor and travail night and day.
So we didn't eat nobody's bread for nothing. Paul was a tent maker. These guys worked. Go ahead and read.
That we might not be chargeable to any of you.
No, you can't tell us what to do like you can't tell me what to do, because I'm going to preach the gospel. And if you don't like it, fire me and I'll eat anyway.
That's right.
Oh, but you can't fire me, can you? Forget about that. Keep reading.
Not because we have not power, but to make ourselves an example unto you to follow us. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you.
Go ahead.
That if any would not work, neither should he eat.
Wait a minute. You mean Paul said that? That's what he's saying. So look, we came and we preached the gospel to you. We put ourselves out to you, but then we went and we made our own living. Look, sisters and brothers, I don't want nobody to misunderstand me. The Bible tells you the workman is worthy of his hire. Don't muzzle the ox that tread the corn. Ministers should get paid. I just happen to be the one that refused it. So I don't want you going around talking about, oh, you shouldn't pay preachers. Yeah, he labored. He didn't pay him. If he's giving you that which is bread.
Right, that's the difference.
Because the Lord set it up. You understand? All ministers not as blessed as I am. But the whole thing is, but you got other brothers around. They're among the congregation. They're living. And they won't work. I'm not saying them that can't work. Sometimes you have a physical condition, you can't do nothing about that. Then we are responsible for taking care of them. However, if you're strong and don't have nothing wrong with you, don't be standing in front of me all the time saying, brother, can you spare a dime? Like the Apostle Paul said, if a man will not work, refuse to work, then he should not eat. I didn't come up with that. I read that.
That's right.
Now let's go back to Proverbs, the 26th chapter. Proverbs chapter 26. Because, sisters and brothers, we go and we talk and, the Lord's going to bless you. You stand on the side and you want to work. Well, don't worry about it. If you won't work, worry plenty. Because one day you're going to look around and ain't going to be nobody around to give you nothing. Then what do? You're either going to starve or you're going to go out and you're going to stick somebody up. Or you're going to steal. Now you have broken the law. Proverbs 26 and verse 12. Okay, go ahead.
Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. That's somebody wise in his own mind. I'm smarter than everybody else. I know something that everybody else don't know. No, you don't. Go ahead and read. The slothful man said, there is a lion in the way. A lion is in the streets. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so does the slothful upon his bed. Ain't that something? Lazy come up with every kind of excuse. I can't go out and work today because you got a lion loose in the streets. So I'm going to have to stay in there for my own protection. And just like the doors turn on a hinge, he turns over in the bed and continue to sleep. Go ahead and read. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The man's so lazy he don't even want to bring the food to the mouth. Want you to feed. That's a slothful man, a lazy man. Laziness, sisters and brothers, can bring you nothing but problems. Go ahead and read. The sluggard is wise in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. Now, and I look at that. You know what I mean? You're broke and you're poor and you're hungry because you won't work, but you're smarter than me. Like I look at a lot of youngsters been raised by their parents. They smarter than their parents. They never pay attention that the bed that they sleeping in, their parent bought it. That's right. The house they sleeping in, the parent bought it.
The bread they eat and the parent put it in the box. So who's smarter than who? Until you can start stocking something, then maybe you ain't so smart after all. Same thing, sisters and brothers. People that are smart, but still you won't do no work. That's being very dumb. Back right up to 24th chapter of Proverbs. See, we don't read stuff like this. That's why the Lord put it in my mind. Why don't you do something that's all over the place and just put, this gonna make you think. You see a guy always coming asking you for something. You ain't paid no attention, but now you're gonna start. You know, he was here last week. As a matter of fact, he was here week before last. And the week before that. You know what, I had a guy, I give some guy money a couple of times. And then I said, man, didn't I give you some money yesterday? You know what he told me? Hey, I got to eat every day. He actually had the gall to tell me that. And then the next time, I made sure I wasn't there, so I wonder how he ate then. Proverbs 24 and verse 30. 24 and 30. Okay, go ahead.
I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns and nettles had covered the face thereof. And the stone wall thereof was broken down.
He said, I went by the house of the lazy person. His field had grown up, his wall had stone down. He didn't repair nothing. Then what did he say? Go ahead and read.
Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction.
And when I looked at it, I received instruction. What is the instruction? Don't be like him. Look what he said here. Go ahead and read.
Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man.
He said, that's what I learned. I looked at the property of the lazy man, his house was breaking down. His fence all broke down. His yard grown up with reeds. You understand what I'm saying? And I was instructed. My message was, if I don't want my house to fall down, then repair it when you have a breach in it. I don't want weeds all over everything. Go cut my grass. If I don't want my fence falling down, fix it. Because when you won't work, when you will not go out and work, sisters and brothers, look what it says in this 34 here. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth. You're going to be just like a woman that's laboring with a baby. And I hear that's real hard labor. That's real pain. And thy wants as an armed man. That means just like a man coming in and sticking you up, you can't do nothing about it. So it is, sisters and brothers. When you are lazy, your wants going to come up on you. And ain't nothing you can do about it because you refuse to do something about it. And let's get up and go to work. The Lord told you that when he took them grapes from you, from Adam and Eve.
That's right.
Said you ain't going to lay around here and pick no grapes off the vine and eat you a few apples and suck on a few oranges because you done sinned against me. Now you're going to go out and work. And worse than that, I'm going to make that ground that you're going to have to work rebel against you. You got to work real hard. How long are you going to work? Until you return to the ground that I took you out of. So where is the grace period, sister and brother? It's all that simple.
That's right.
So that's is the fate of the lazy. That's what slow from the lazy man. Somebody always says, well, you saw the Lord tell you to share. I ain't got no problem with that. But let's start sharing with you a little bit.
That's right.
This is a straight up fact here. I used to have a partner that come, as a bachelor before I got married. I had my own house and all that stuff. My partner used to come, and I always had a basement full of liquor. He said a few weeks, he talk, let's go to the basement. He go down. Then he come up out of the basement staggered. Go home. After a while, I got tired, and he come over my house. He said, let's go to the basement. I said, okay, you got some liquor? No. I said, well, I tell you what, the next time you come, you bring the liquor, and we're going to go to the basement and drink that. Never saw him again. And that's the God's truth. Never came back. He couldn't bring no liquor. You know why? Because he was living with his granddad. Not working. The Lord tell you about everything, sisters and brothers.
Right.
I'm going to look at a little bit about marriage here. What about marriage? Let's go into Proverbs, the 18th chapter. We ain't going to get too far in it because I got a lot of things I want to deal with. Proverbs, 18th chapter. We're going to start out by reading one verse. Verse 22. 18 and 22. Read it.
Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord.
So he said, whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and have obtained favor from the Lord. 90% of the time, that is correct, sisters and brothers. I take that back. 100% of the time, that's correct. So that other 10%, the Lord didn't send you. But let's look at a few things. Let's go into Proverbs, the 31st chapter, because the Lord talks about a virtuous woman, sisters and brothers. Some brothers have them and mess them up. I've seen it now. Oh, brother, I wish I could roll back the clock. Yeah, I wish I was young again, too. I wish I had all of my hair. That's why they cut it off, because it was leaving on its own. I just evicted the rest of it. So if we're going to start wishing, let's go for it. We're going 31 and 10. We're going to start at verse 10. Okay, go ahead.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
It is, sisters and brothers. And I know. Go ahead and read.
The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil.
Now, you can trust, a virgin, you can trust her. You ain't worried about her spending all the money. You ain't worried about her going out and making deals that you can't cover. Getting you into things that bring drama to you. Go ahead and read.
She would do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
That's a long time, ain't it? Go ahead and read.
She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands.
Now, she always trying to do something to help the household, enhance the marriage. And she ain't going to let nobody come in and kill her household. I don't care if it's mother, father, sister, or brother. Because she remember that what God told a man to do, that go for the woman too, because woman is man also. You shall leave mother and father and cleave unto your husband, or either to your wife. If it's going to hurt my man or my woman, I ain't going to have nothing to do with it. What verse are we?
That was the end of 13.
Go ahead.
She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens.
So she's always thinking about things. She ain't glamorous, running around where, like, where's my husband this and the husband that? You understand? Or sitting at home, I'm bored. What you going to do about it? Brother out working. She ain't paying no attention that it's not raining on her.
That's right.
Every time she want to go to the refrigerator, there's food in it. Walk outside, don't want to catch the bus, she got a car to ride. But if she got a bus pass that paid for, she's still ahead of the game. And she labors with her hands, sisters and brothers. Skip down to verse 15 and go ahead.
That was 15.
Skip down to verse 25, brother, and go ahead.
Strength and honor are her clothing.
Yes, sir.
And she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth up her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness.
Ain't that something? strength and honor. That's what you have to attribute to her. And when she opened her mouth, she talking, speaking wisdom. Ain't always some foolishness. Because she ain't going to say stuff that she can't bring back. She can't suck back up, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read. And says she's always kind. I see some of these sisters talking to their old man, call him everything. And then expect him to be nice. Go ahead and read.
27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness.
And eateth not the bread of idleness. You know, she's busy doing something. I actually had a sister telling me, you know, I just have a problem with my husband. What's wrong? He work all the time, and I don't know what to do about it. I said, why don't you go out and get you a job? So while he is working all the time, you working. Instead of you sitting at home waiting for him to come so you can grieve him. Go out and get you a job. Now you got you some business. He's going to come in and talk about his job. You're going to come in and you're going to talk about your job. Everybody's going to be happy ever after. Because if you ain't got nothing to do, you're going to sit around and just have them old evil thoughts. What you do at work? I did so-and-so, so-and-so. Why did you think about me? No, I was busy thinking about my work. Oh, you don't love me. Wait a minute. Go ahead and read.
28. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also.
Go ahead.
And he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all.
Go ahead.
Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain.
And this is what you might look for, sisters. Favor is deceitful. Oh, when you're young and everything is in place, everybody want to do stuff for you. And you beautiful, everybody want to do something for you. But one day you're going to get overweight, you're going to get wrinkled, and you're going to get old. So if your looks are what you've been thriving on, you're going to go down the toilet with the quickness. But if you have found favor from your righteous movement and your love and your honor towards your husband and in the enhancement of your household, he's going to look at you and see that woman that he married 20 years ago. Right. That's the way it is, sister and brother.
Right.
That's why the Lord tells you, so favor is deceitful, beauty is vain. Go ahead.
But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised.
But the woman that fears the Lord, she's going to be praised. Because she is going to reap what she has sown. Go ahead and read.
Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.
Ain't that something? Just like anything else, sister. You make things good with your man, and you make them bad. Unless you got your neighbor. Then that's that 10%. Then all you got to do is be patient, and God will take him and give you to somebody that deserves you. All you got to do is be patient. But the Lord wants you to know that, sisters and brothers. That's why I tell a lot of sisters and brothers come to me with hard problems. I just tell them, hey, I can't solve your problem. All I can do is tell you be patient. God knows your problem. If you're doing the right thing all the time, he's going to fix it sooner or later. And that's all to it. You got to believe that. Proverbs, the 9th chapter. You got to believe that. It's just like when we was building this place, the contractor that I was using, he kept saying, well, Brother Boyd, you think we're going to be all right? You know what I told him? I said, you worry about this project when your first check bounce. Until that check bounce, keep building. And that's all to it. You understand? You worry about stuff you don't have to be concerned with. You don't know, hey, I got me a ram in the bush. He's called the God of Israel. Proverbs 9 and verse 13. Proverbs 9 and 13. Okay, go ahead.
A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing.
A foolish woman is clamorous. She knows and always talking. Everybody's around. She's simple and she knows nothing. She can have everything, but no, ain't got sense enough to know that. Go ahead and read.
But she sitteth at the door of her house, on a seat in the high places of the city.
Go ahead.
To call passengers who go right on their ways. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither.
Ain't that something? This is talking about a woman that's unfaithful. You understand? And telling whoso is simple. Because if you don't have no understanding and you deal with a married woman, you are real simple. Because you are near of her. Either if the woman is not married and you ain't watching yourself and you go with her, you're still real simple. Go ahead and read.
And as for him that wanteth understanding, she said to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant.
When it said wanted, this place wanted means lacks understanding. Stolen waters are sweet. If it's stolen, that means it belonged to somebody else, don't it?
Right.
The Lord tell you, thou shalt not steal.
That's right.
He didn't say what, did he? That means that covers everything, didn't it? These sisters and brothers, he had this written for you. He had this written for you. Because if you go, you think there's something stolen and bread that's eaten in secret, it's more pleasant. That means that you don't have no understanding. Go ahead and read.
But he knoweth not that the dead are there.
Yes, sir.
And that our guests are in the depths of hell.
So that's what lies with her. Any man that go out and mess with another man's wife, or any man just want to go up and play the womanizer. I won't use the other word. You know, the monger. He don't know it, but he's committing suicide. Mm-hmm. Lord, and sent your wife. He said, drink water out your own cistern.
That's right.
So anything that's stolen belongs to somebody else. Let's back up to Proverbs, the 6th chapter. See, sisters and brothers, this is just something to make you think about. Because you actually have some people that's in the word thinking, well, you know, I can get away with this and I can get away with it. Yeah, you know, when you think that until the drama fall on you. Then you say, Lord, have mercy. He said, I did have mercy. I wrote it in a book. You refuse to believe it. Lord is full of mercy. He told Adam and Eve not to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. In other words, don't go over there and hang out with that devil. Because he's a snake. And he ain't talking about crawling on his stomach. Ain't nothing he going to give you but death. Don't do it, because if you do, I'm going to have to kill you. But you didn't believe God. So who's dying? Verse 23, Proverbs 6 and verse 23. Go ahead.
For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light.
Go ahead.
And reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
That's it. That's the way it is. That's what it is. In fact, the commandments are ordained to life. Go ahead and read.
To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman.
Ain't that something? Now, you got a wife at home that's doing everything right. You gets out there, some woman whispering some sweet nothing in your ear. You never paid no attention. It is nothing. Then you get out there and you act stupid, and now you hanging. And people wonder, well, why Brother Boyd on this? Look, you had favor from the Lord, and you blew it. So I ain't going to cry for you. I ain't going to grieve with you. I'm going to look at you and keep walking. Go ahead and read.
25. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart. Neither let her take thee with her eyelid.
Go ahead.
For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread.
A piece of bread, that's very low, ain't it? You understand? So the Lord is warning you about that. Go ahead and read.
And the adulteress will hunt for the precious life.
And that's what would happen. She got somebody, but that ain't good enough. She out there hunting you down, trying to kill you, bring you to nothing. And brothers don't want to look at that, sisters and brothers. But you got to pay some attention to it, because the Lord is warning you What verse is that?
That was verse 26.
Go ahead.
Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned?
Nope. Go ahead.
Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned?
Sure can't. Go ahead and read.
So he that goeth in to his neighbor's wife, whosoever toucheth her, shall not be innocent.
Ain't that something the Lord telling you that? But you got brothers that's do it. Supposed to be servants of God. Well, sister, you sure look good. I sure like to get around with you. Now, if she is a whorish woman, well, why not? I'm glad you noticed. Now, both of you are going to run off and commit suicide. That's all that simple. It's all that simple. Oh, my husband never said good things like that. Yeah, he said them all the time. He made sure you ain't hungry. He makes sure you ain't naked. Make sure that you got a roof and you warm in the wintertime. He's saying volumes. Sometimes don't pay as much to the conversation as you do to the behavior. This is the problem with us. We have forgotten that old statement, action speaks louder than words. Give me sweet words and you all right with me. Skip down to verse 32. Verse 32 and go ahead.
But whoso committeth adultery with the woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul.
Ain't that something? Any man that will commit adultery, you're going to go out and sleep with another man's wife. You don't have no understanding. You are destroying your own soul. Go ahead and read.
A wound and dishonor shall he get.
How long is that?
And his reproach shall not be wiped away.
That's a long time, man. A wound and dishonor shall he get. And his reproach will never be wiped away. That's why, brother, you have to watch what you do. Ecclesiastes tell you, the 9th chapter says, as long as you living, there's hope.
That's right.
But I tell you something, you better get to working on it. Because the Lord don't look well on that. And then you got a lot of brothers, well, I ain't going to get married, So, and I ain't messing with no married woman. I'm always messing with single women. I'm going to show you something here. Let's go into 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter. So I listen to all this scuttlebutt be running around here sometime. People think God is stupid. He put something in place and you stupid because you don't know what you just did. I'm going to show you this place here. 6, and we're going to start at verse 15. 6 and 15. This should be real food for thought here. Go ahead and read it.
Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of a harlot?
Wait a minute now. Your body are the members of Christ. You're supposed to be a Christian. You're supposed to be under the blood. He said, shall you take your body, which is a member of Christ, and make it a member of a harlot? How is that? Go ahead and read.
God forbid.
He sure do forbid that.
That's
Go ahead and read.
What? Know ye not that he which is joined to a harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
You just married you a harlot. When the Lord brought and put this man and this woman together, in Genesis 2 and 24, he said, I have made you one flesh.
That's right.
Therefore shall a man leave mother and father and cleave unto his wife. Right. Paul is telling you something here. Let's think you go out and you pay a few dollars, I'm straight. No, you ain't. You just got in trouble. What verse are we?
That was the end of 16.
Go ahead and read.
But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit.
Go ahead.
Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body.
Go ahead.
But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body.
That's a grievous sin, ain't it? Every other sin is without the body. But the man that go and you commit fornication, you have sinned against your body. I'm just putting this here so you can chew on it. Because it's obvious you ain't chewing on it. So this is the law. You have to do the law. Let's go back to the Proverbs, the 28th chapter. Proverbs chapter 28. Because, sisters and brothers, the Lord don't make no difference for nobody. That's why I can't understand my Hebrew brothers running around acting like God just loves us and nobody else. He going to save us and nobody else. You don't know this God of this Bible. You worry more about fringes than you are the commandments. And the fringe was there to remind you to keep the commandments. And the Lord told you, I'm going to make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. I'm going to put my laws and statutes in their mind because it's obvious the fringes wasn't working.
That's right.
But don't nobody pay no attention. Proverbs 28 and verse 4, 28 and 4. Go ahead.
They that forsake the law praise the wicked.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
But such as keep the law contend with them.
If you forsake God's law, you praise the wicked. But if you are a law keeper, you're going to contend with them. No, brother. That's like, you got to keep the commandments.
Right.
You can't be polluting the Sabbath day. The Lord still said it is his day of rest.
Right.
You can't covet your neighbor's house, your neighbor's wife, your neighbor's substance. You can't do that. You can't kill. You can't steal.
That's right.
You can't commit adultery. You can't do that. Go ahead and read.
Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things.
Yes, sir. If you really seeking the Lord and dealing with his word, you understand all things, sisters and brothers. But evil men don't understand the word of God, because the law of the Lord, because if they did, they would stop being evil, because they know the consequences of it.
That's right.
Skip down to verse 9. Verse 9 and go ahead.
He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination.
Now you going to say to the Lord, look here, Lord, we know we don't have to keep the commandments because they was nailed to the cross with Christ. Then what is sin?
Right.
If the commandments was terminated at the death of Jesus, then there are no more sinners, because the sin is the transgression of the law.
Right.
Paul told you in the 7th chapter of Romans, he had not sinned, known sin, except for the law said, thou shalt not covet. How you going to nail the commandments to the ground and still be a sinner? You're going to nail it to the cross and you still a sinner. It don't work like that. Like I say all the time, it's just like you sticking up a bank. Somebody bail you out. Now since I've been bailed out, I've been covered by the bail, I can go and stick up every bank in the country. Now they can't touch me no more because I'm under the grace now. It don't work like that. No. Maybe you won't go to the bank. They just shoot you down the streets the next time.
That's it.
Verse what?
That was the end of 9.
Go ahead and read.
Whoso causeth the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit.
And the Lord is telling you that. Go ahead and read.
But the upright shall have good things in possession.
And otherwise, you always trying to bring some evil on somebody. Or bring some harm to somebody. Always down in somebody. The ditch that you dig, you're going to end up falling in it. It's all that simple. That's why I said don't hang out with the angry man. You get away from them kind of people. They don't have but one thing coming to you, and that is drama. Back up to Proverbs, the 26th chapter. Like I said, we're just going to read some of this stuff because you might think about it. You might be guilty of some of it. Now you're going to have to start sanitizing yourself. Because I've seen it too much. Sometimes we are real blessed. We got everything. And we don't know it. We're going to start at verse 17, 26 and 17. Go ahead.
He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belonging not to him is like one that taketh a dog by the ear.
Now that's somebody always in somebody else's business. You understand? They're always running their mouth about somebody else's business. Did you know this here? Did you know? Boy, did you see what she did? Did you see what he did? You grab a dog by the ears and see what he's going to do. You're going to get bit. Sooner or later, you keep on hanging out in somebody else's business, you're going to get bit by them. If somebody's sinning against the law, against them, you don't go against the law, against God, brother. You don't go out there and spread their business all. You go to them if your sister and brother say, look here, the Lord said, I should not do that. Well, listen, this is my business. You ain't got nothing to do with it. Then you have done your job. You go on about your business, and that's the end of it. The Lord will deal with it. You just delivered yourself. But when you're always running around talking about somebody else's business and somebody else's affair, just like grabbing a dog by the ears, he's going to bite you. Skip down to verse 20 and go ahead.
Where no wood is, there the fire go out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceases.
Ain't that something? You can't have a fire without wood. And you can't have strife without somebody talebearing. And people don't understand the word talebearing. Even if it's the truth, you still bearing a tale. If this truth is not going to edify somebody or fix somebody, then why are you talking it? Leave it alone. Or you say, I don't care what they say, I'm telling the truth, but that ain't none of your business.
That's right. That's right.
Go ahead and read.
As coals are the burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife.
Always keeping up something. Always. Go ahead and read.
The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly.
Ain't that something? I mean, you always bearing tales or telling something on somebody just like fatally wounding somebody. And for what reason? If this brother's doing something wrong that's going to get him cut off, I'm going to tell him privately, brother, don't do this. If he tell me, get out my business, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, then I'm out of his business. And when the trauma come on him, he wants to talk to me, brother, boy, I need to talk. Hey, I'm going to walk out the room. Because I tried to talk to you when it would do some good. Now the damage is done. That's a talebearer. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, if it don't need to be said and it can cause harm, leave it alone. You say things that can help and build, not tear down and destroy.
Right.
Go ahead and read.
Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross.
Ain't that something? Potsherd, that's ashes. You know, it ain't got nothing going on. It's silver, but when you bite, you're going to run into the ashes. Go ahead and read.
He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him.
If you're a hater, you're always taking somebody apart with your mouth. Always having evil and foolishness and always deceiving somebody. Oh, man, did you hear so-and-so? Did you know? Did you pay any attention? It ain't none of my business. I do it a lot of times when people want to be talking about somebody else. I just walk on away. Oh, brother, I think that's rude. No, what's rude is you're trying to tell me somebody's business that I can't fix. They're the ones that had a problem, go tell them.
Right.
They can fix it. Go ahead and read.
When he speaketh fair, believe him not. For there are 7 abominations in his heart. Even
when you get a talebearer, there's always spreading something. When he come to you speaking fair, hey, don't believe him. Because just like he telling you their business, as soon as he find out about your business, he going to take that to them.
That's right.
Get away from these people. Go ahead and read.
Whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation.
Now, people have, oh, that's a nice brother. You know, he always warning somebody. No, he ain't warning nobody. He's killing somebody. Go ahead and read.
Whoso diggeth the pit shall fall therein.
Yes, sir.
And he that rolleth the stone, it will return upon him.
You got to remember that. You're going to push a stone up the hill and roll it down on somebody. You're going to slip, and you're going to become the victim. You're going to dig a hole, and you're going to forget that you dug the hole, and you're going to fall in it. The Lord do that. Go ahead and read.
A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it. And a flattering mouth worketh ruin.
Ain't that something? Anybody that you lie on, you hate them. And always complimenting somebody. You know you don't feel well. You know, baby, this and that. You know, all this. He said, look at here. He said, that work and ruin.
That's right.
You tell them they got something they ain't got. Woman ain't got it going on. Oh, baby, you got it all happening. Then you start acting like that, and then you come to, and then I just say, okay, darling, you so sweet. If you sweet. If you ain't going to say that. Because the Lord warned you about good words and fair speech. Let's go into Romans, the 16th chapter. It's just something, sisters and brothers, this is food for thought. Because the Lord, I'm going to tell you something. When I put this lesson together years ago, we had some straight up evil brothers. I ain't going to lie. Them cats showed up, I wanted to just leave. Always talking about somebody. Always in somebody's business. Always criticizing somebody. And didn't have nothing going for themselves. The only thing they had going for themselves was mouth. You don't need people like that. I don't want you always telling me negative stuff that I can't fix. That's why I stopped counseling. I used to try to counsel. I come to the point where all I was a signboard for he over here and she's over here, and they arguing at one another through me. And when they get up and leave, it's all the same. No counseling I ever did worked. And then it dawned on me. If the word of God can't change you, what is it that I can say to change you? Nothing. So I left it alone. We got a lot of brothers love to counsel. They ain't paid no attention. That all they did was make the people hate them. But they ain't fixing nothing. Counselor. You must be perfect. Romans 16, we're going to start reading at verse 17. Verse 17, go ahead.
Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses, contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them.
He said, mark them people that's always creating division and talking contrary. It is contrary for you to get in people's business. We just read that, didn't we? Right. He said, avoid them. Go ahead and read.
For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly.
Go ahead.
And by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple.
Ain't that something? They always have something to say. It's because they're looking for something. Yeah, you know, I love Brother James. He always keeping me informed. Yeah, somebody else's business. There you go, brother, boy, you got $10, man. Yeah, you know, man, because you my man. You ain't my man. What you are is somebody that's trying to get me cut off by becoming a talebearer too. It's all that simple, sisters and brothers. But who do they deceive? The simple. That's right. Go back to Proverbs, the 14th chapter. Like I said, just food for thought.